always try not to get into that kind of thing. But
yeah.
I think one time he managed to injure his back really bad one time.
Sure. Yeah, anything where you're involved in heavy lifting, there's always back injuries. A lot of iron workers get back injuries. Cumulative, not necessarily like from one accident, but just from years and years of lifting heavy objects.
Have you been in any accidents in your line of work? Like,
no, because I'm in the office or in the field, but I'm not actually placing rebar. So
So it's been like that for your whole career. You've always been more.
Well, no, I placed concrete and rebar for like my first year when I was doing it. It was kind of on and off when I was at the first company I worked for. And then I've done it for I own my own concrete company, so I mean I do patios and stuff like that. So I mean I place concrete and rebar when I do my own personal projects for people.
Okay. Can you tell us about like some of the stuff you've done, like big projects, small projects?
Yeah, I did there's some bridges going into Yosemite Park that were put up, we put them up a couple years ago. There's a big landslide that wiped out the road, so we put in some bridges, and I poured all the concrete and did the rebar on those. That was a pretty big project. The aqueduct over here in Byron, or outside Tracy, it had a hole in it. It busted a leak. You know, the aqueduct thing that takes water from the Delta, like down in Los Angeles, and all. When you drive towards the Bay Area, you go over it. It's a big concrete channel. It had a leak, and I was running that job, or I was the second guy in command there, and we had to. It was like a $5 million job. Basically, you have a big old canal, which is wider than this and 20 feet deep, but you had to block up, rip out all the old concrete, where it busted, filled in, put in new concrete, and do all that. So, and then just all sorts of roads, freeways, underpasses, overpasses. Those would be like some major ones that'd be known, but all sorts of roads, subdivisions, all over the place.
So to recap this interview, you're enjoying your job.
Yes.
And you considered doing work like this in the beginning when you were younger. And you've done some big work.
I guess that's pretty much it, but I wanted to kind of ask, how did you really get to where you are today? I mean, I understand you've been in the business for a long time, but I mean, did you have to do any schooling? Did you have most people to get to this position would go to school and get a construction management degree or a civil engineering degree. I got a business administration degree with a management concentration. So similar, but it wasn't construction oriented, but it was still business and management. And I mean, what I do a lot of spreadsheets, I do a lot of letter writing, I read a lot of plans. So a lot of Excel spreadsheets, all sorts of crunching numbers. It's not like, a lot of it's in the office, paperwork stuff. So getting any type of college degree, especially with whether it's accounting, finance, business, those are all going to help you prepare for it. But specifically, if you were going to do it, you would get a construction management degree because they teach you a lot about construction in general. Well, for my first year that I got a job as a concrete estimator. We did concrete and rebar. I worked in the field part-time, and then they kind of trained me in the field. Like I learned how to do it from the bottom up, like how to place concrete, and then they started training me to estimate. So it was kind of like an entry-level job. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I went to another company where I continued to do more computer, taking plans and looking at them and figuring out quantities, like how much concrete for a job, how many yards of, how many cubic yards of asphalt, roads, figure out all the material. And then from there I started working with a superintendent. Started off as being like a junior estimator, then I went to a takeoff engineer, then a project engineer, which means you work with a project manager or superintendent. You kind of do their paperwork and you're kind of like an assistant. And from there I became a superintendent, which means I was running all my own stuff, my own crews. And then now I became a superintendent / project manager. And then I became a senior project manager, which means I'm above the other guys, the other project managers and superintendents. So basically you just work yourself from the ground up?
Yeah, because I'd probably say, there's been like 4 positions to get to this one in between.
Was it hard to get there?
Yeah, it was. I had to move companies like 3 times because you get a good company, they'll get you up, but sometimes you got to go somewhere else to keep advancing. Where the opportunities are to advance, you got to take them.
Do you have any regrets as in opportunities you feel you should have grasped?
Or that you missed?
No, I've done well.
Was anybody ever telling you that you should be doing something else?
No.
So you've been supported by your family?
Yeah, it's always been a good career for me. No complaints. Other than you work really hard, you work a lot of hours. It's stressful. It's really stressful, and you get there's a lot of pressure on projects to be done on time, under budget, especially with the economy the way it is. There's not a lot of extra money in the jobs, you know, but you bid jobs really, really tight. So I mean, you spend a lot of time managing that job to make sure it makes money. Especially in union construction, which we're in. I mean, when guys are making a union iron worker, what he costs the company, he makes like 35 bucks an hour plus the benefits package, which is like 8 bucks an hour. The taxes, insurance, and everything, he costs the company about $60 an hour. So for every hour he works, he costs you $60. So I mean, it can add up very quickly. You know, one guy has to go back for one day to fix some stuff. You know, 8 times 60 is 480 bucks. I mean, you can lose, that's just one guy a day costs you $500 basically, plus his truck, you know, and all that stuff. So you just got to, you know, it's big money. So you got to stay on top of it.
Okay, that's pretty much it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow.